Coming up next on the Bell Howard Show, Washington, D.C. gears up for more violent protests. Also, residents of our nation's capital express sadness that their town is beginning to resemble a military dictatorship. Plus, were some of the police at the Capitol Hill building actually assisting the protesters? And then I get to read some of your emails. Lucky me.
Welcome to Freedom Island. You're listening to the Bell Howard Show. And now, here's your host, Bell Howard.
Come ashore this island of freedom, this oil rig of sanity. It's the Bell Howard Show. Free thought, free expression, free coffee, but not free love, because it makes me uncomfortable. You know, people ask me, are you a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian? Are you right? Or are you left? Are you a socialist? I say, I'm a free thinker. And I want others to speak their mind and speak freely. And I will never censor you on this show. I don't screen calls. I mean, I should, but sometimes I'm just so surprised someone calls into the show. I just pick it up and hope for the best. I try to stay as free as possible, and I don't censor people, unlike our tech overlords, Twitter, the Twitterati, censoring the president, also ganging up with its big tech brothers, Apple, Google, Amazon, the whole gang, and they're just shutting down competition. I mean, it's really a monopoly. Have you heard of the Twitter alternative Parler? Either have I until this whole thing, but now you can't use that. So what happened? I mean, that was the big story last week on Wednesday at the Capitol building. What happened on that day? The blog InfoSlop called it the Capitol Hill siege. Another said it was an alt-right social media networking party, while others said it was an alternative tour for extreme patriot. It was the story of the week, and I thought a first-person account of the mayhem that went on then would be great. But it turned out that guy I talked to, he went by the moniker Larry, didn't actually march on the Capitol because he was held up by his breakfast. He ate some chorizo, and I love chorizo as much as the next guy. But if you're planning to take part in an insurrection, you might have a lighter breakfast. Just a piece of toast, maybe maybe a cup of oatmeal, and give yourself enough time to digest, and let your body have enough time, to do your daily duties. So we didn't get a clear view of what happened that day. But today we have another caller who was there, and this time we're going to get a view from the other side. On the phone now is a member of the Capitol Hill Police. Recently, some officers were accused of helping Trump supporters that day, and they were suspended. We have a member of the law enforcement on the phone right now. He wants to go by the name Stormtrooper 87. Stormtrooper 87, welcome to the Bell Howard Show.
Yes.
So you're a member of the Capitol Hill Police, is that correct?
Maybe.
Stormtrooper 87, some people are accusing the police that worked there that day of assisting the protesters. Do you know anything about that? I mean, did you assist any protesters?
No one helped the protesters, as far as I know, but we did give them some tours.
Tours?
That's right. Some of us, you're disguising my voice, right?
Yeah, as per our agreement, yes.
Yeah, well, some of us give alternative tours.
What do you mean, alternative tours?
We call it Q tours. You get the whole insurrection experience. Protesting is a big business, and there's a lot of businesses that rely on massive demonstrations. For example, Airbnb, Home Depot.
Yeah, the DeWalt ladders.
Yeah, you need a ladder to scale walls. So you see sales at these home improvement centers. There's a section for protesters, You got ladders and signage sticks and poster board. And then you have another section for people who are defending against protesters. You got plywood, nail guns, barbed wire, etc.
It's a big business. So what did you do on that day? Were you giving alternative tours to some of these people?
Yeah, most of these guys, come in and first you shout. There's the shouting portion of the tour. We call it the venting room. That's and then that's followed by our selfie portion. You take selfies, and then I take you to the door of the Senate floor and the barricade that blocks the entrance. Yeah, that's basically the whole thing.
They say some of these demonstrators actually stole things, including Nancy Pelosi's laptop.
My customers didn't take any of those things. At Q Tours, we actually provide a swag bag at the end. The bag includes a flash drive with incriminating photos on it, a blood-stained teddy bear, and a coupon for a local pizza shop.
And Trump supporters all signed up for this Q tour?
No, I only had a group of about 5 people. Most of the people there were just crazy. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta show these people the basement of a Chuck E. Cheese.
All right, Stormtrooper 87, thanks so much. All right, folks, so things are happening so fast. Washington, D.C. is turning into a war zone. Meanwhile, in the news, as Washington, D.C. prepares for the inauguration ceremony, National Guard troops are being deployed, 25,000 troops. And fences, you got to have fences, are being erected 2 meters high. So they're preparing for the worst, and it's a sight that some Washington, D.C. residents are lamenting. One 56-year-old Washington, D.C. resident expressed sadness at the security arrangements. He said he hoped the inauguration ceremony will be held peacefully. And folks, you gotta question the news sometimes. I mean, things like this, you gotta step back and kind of think critically about them and think about what news am I actually getting in the papers every day. My first thought is, how sad is this 56-year-old? And so I wanted to reach out and kind of fact check this story, and we were able to track down a sad 56-year-old resident in the D.C. area. Do we got him, Wes? Okay. All right. Are you the 56-year-old D.C. resident who recently expressed sadness about the inauguration security arrangements?
Yes, that's me. I'm really sad about what has happened to the inauguration ceremony.
Wow, you sound really sad.
I really like inaugurations. Whether it was Democrat or Republican, I always showed up and waved an American flag. And now American flags have been banned because they're too patriotic.
Really? I mean, how did we get to the point where American flags are deemed too patriotic?
And you can't even say patriotic. Patriots are frowned upon. You can't just be a fan of patriotism anymore.
Well, can I ask, sad 56-year-old, which way do you lean?
Well, I had a wife once, so I'm not gay, if that's what you're asking.
No, I mean politically. Which party, Republican or Democrat?
Oh, Democrat.
You know, you really sound like a sad Democrat, and it's puzzling because this should be a happy time for you.
It's the only party that's left. Trump supporters have turned the Republican Party into a cult.
I'm sorry, a cult?
A cult.
Well, doesn't Biden's inauguration make you a little happy?
Well, yes, but it's probably the last time we'll see a baby boomer in the Oval Office, so that makes me sad too.
Well, what about, I don't know, you got a majority in the Senate, right?
I guess, but there's still a pandemic, and I don't have financial relief yet.
Times are tough, right? I mean, what do you do for a living, sad 56-year-old D.C. resident?
I mostly rely on renting my house through Airbnb. They took that away from me, too. I rely on demonstrators who come to Washington to stay at my house. I've got a lovely bungalow complete with cable TV, Wi-Fi, and a jacuzzi. I was really counting on Trump supporters to stay at my house this week, but Airbnb was canceled by the government.
By the what?
The government.
I think you said government. So this isn't the America you imagined when you went to your first inauguration, waving your little flag and probably on your daddy's shoulders. What was your first inauguration ceremony, by the way?
President Obama, 2008. And I was on my daddy's shoulders, too. Even at 67, he had strong shoulders.
Well, that's sweet. I hope you can sit on someone's shoulders during the Biden inauguration.
I have to sit on someone's shoulders to see past the fences, the armed guards, the tanks, and the moat filled with sharks.
Wow, that's some security detail. All right, Mr. Sad 56-year-old D.C. resident, thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you the best.
Bye, Bill.
Well, folks, when we come back, we'll read your emails, so stay tuned for the sound of my voice reading the words that come from your brain. Stay tuned for that. Folks, the Bell Howard Show is on Twitter, Facebook, and it's on the YouTubes. Follow me, like me, pray for me, subscribe on iTunes and Spotify, and remember, my tweets are thought-provoking and sarcastic, and 100% me. I'm the only one who touches them. I don't even let Wes tweet for me. I don't let Wes read my tweets before I send them, and that makes him very angry. See you on the Twitter sphere. Follow us on Twitter and like and subscribe on YouTube. God bless our little micronation. All right, folks, no ads this week because, sometimes it's nice to go ad-free. And actually, I'll level with you people. Folks, these days, advertisers are more risk-averse than ever. Advertisers are real jittery about anything that's political or politics adjacent. So for example, the back ape, get the monkey off your back with an easy-to-use back hair trimmer. That sponsor jumped ship because they don't want to be associated with anything that has to do with politics. People use the word divided to describe the American people. I mean, divided. Not only are we divided, but there's a moat between us, and the moat is filled with sharks, and the sharks have lasers. So in other words, there's no hope of reconciliation, and people who are trying to survive in this new economy where the government just opens and closes if someone sneezes, they can't afford to seem biased in any way. I mean, I understand, but at the same time, Wes and I, we need to eat too, and we're running out of tortilla chips. Anyway, let's dip into the email bag.
Let's dip into the email bag.
So this email comes from Queen Sassy Pants 65, might be a woman. Anyway, she goes on to say, I suspected my husband always texting a lady on his phone. We've been married for 18 years. We've both been happy together until recently when he switched side and I found out he has been cheating. Okay, wait a minute. I don't know what that means. He switched side. Anyway, it goes on to say, I saw image of woman's back on phone. It looked so smooth. I was angry at my husband and asked him who was that lady on his phone, and he said that's not a lady. That was his friend who recently used the back hair shaver. He said if he turned and showed his smooth back, you couldn't tell that he was a 47-year-old lumberjack. His friend is smooth like a lady, and now I don't worry because I know he no have affair with woman but likes to see his lumberjack friend a lot. Maybe too much. I am worried maybe my husband wants to be a lumberjack. All right, well, listen. That was clearly an ad for the back ape, and I appreciate hustle. I appreciate when someone does their best and succeeds by their wits alone, because they don't have a choice, because they lack the financial resources or the opportunity to succeed in a conventional way. But for the back ape people, to hire someone whose first language clearly isn't English and use them to Trojan horse an ad on my show, I mean, I think it's disgraceful. It's a good product, too. The back ape works. I'm happy selling it. Don't cancel your ads because of political reasons and then try to sneak it on my show. I'm not going to advertise the back ape for free. I'm happy to talk about it because it's a great product. You know, you shave my back, I shave yours. And if it's with the back ape, it's the smoothest shave ever, and your wife will think she's sleeping next to another woman. But I'm not going to advertise. I'm not going to advertise anyone's product for free, including the back ape, which is a phenomenal product, one that I and Wes happen to use and we're very happy with. Okay, one more email here from Mystic Burrito Love 99. It says, "Hi, Bell. I heard you were a failed actor." All right, well, wait a second here. Failed. I mean, I was in a show in the 80s, albeit a short-lived cop show called Barracuda. Anyway, it goes on to say, I wanted to be an actor too, but I think politics might be more fun. Can you advise me? By the way, I was at the Capitol Hill protests. Did you see me? I was dressed like a horse. No, I didn't see that picture of a horse man. But look, failed actors are running wild in the street, and it's no wonder. I mean, the theaters are being shut down and movies aren't being made, so there's no outlet for these fragile young men. I would say if you're thinking about either politics or acting at this point, now I know I'm going to get flack for this, but I would say just go back to community college. I know you dropped out. You don't have to tell me. I know. I just know. And just work towards a certificate in programming. I mean, from one borderline narcissist to another, just do something practical. I mean, the way things are going, I mean, it's going to be Blade Runner here pretty soon. You know what I mean? I really care for my fellow showbiz brothers and sisters. I really do. So just go back and enroll in community college. Stop joining protests thinking you're some kind of magical horse. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Join us next time when we will tackle the big apes. I mean, the big issues of the day. And hopefully when I talk to you again, we can find that silver lining, that sliver of hope together, and look at a world that's not so bleak and bureaucratic, but one that's filled with love and understanding and jobs for everyone, including failed actors. Folks, till next time, stay safe, stay sane, and stay free. Bye now.
So go home. We love you. You're very special. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.